Hey everybody, it's Brian again, and today we're sitting in a 2023 Toyota Corolla LE, one of the world's most popular cars, with some big changes for 2023 compared to the 2022. Let's begin. Here's an example of what your window sticker looks like on a 2023 Corolla. Some of the options and standard equipment. Notice that for 2023, standard is the 2.0 liter 4-cylinder. And we've now gone up to Toyota Safety Sense 3.0, which adds the proactive driving assist that will give you a little bit of brake input if you're taking a turn a little too fast. And lane tracing assist has been updated as well. New for 2023 on the Corolla, we have a color called Underground Gray available, which is kind of tough to see on the screen here, but in real life, it's very unique because it doesn't really have much of a metallic flake. So a couple changes here for 2023, even though the frame is the same and the car is almost the same. Standard on the base model Corolla now, we have the dual J's, which are LED strips. Of course, LED lighting has been standard on the Corolla with a long orange side marker / turn signal. Big open grille for lots of airflow with no fake vents. We have a little insert over here that's not a real vent, but that could be where a fog light would go on more of an upgraded model. But overall, it's got that traditional Corolla face that we've seen throughout this generation. Onto the side, we have that traditional round Corolla look with a couple cuts and edges in the front and the rear. Standard on the 2023 Corolla are hubcaps with a steel wheel, and this is a 16-inch wheel. And one of the benefits of that is if you scratch this up and damage it, it's cheap to replace. And believe it or not, running on a flat if you had to on a steel wheel, a lot easier to do, God forbid. Color matching mirrors are also standard now on the Corolla base model instead of a little black mirror that wasn't painted with any type of clear coat, and it folds in very easily. People also enjoy that the mirrors are really big on the Corolla, especially big for a car this size. In the back here, nothing much different than the 22s, single exhaust on one side. If you get the sportier trim like the SC or the XSE, you'll have some more ground effects here, and of course a completely different bumper in the front. But speaking of the Corolla, let's pop the hood and see what that 2.0 looks like. Under the hood, standard 2.0 4-cylinder, upgraded from the 1.8. You used to have to get the Sport to get the 2.0. This is the M20A FKS. I think this is going to be a very successful engine for Toyota. 4 coil packs, everything is easy to get to. It's a super lightweight hood. I still have access to changing oil by myself. I can check the oil. Alternators up top and easy to get to. Just by looking at the reservoir for the coolant, I can see my coolant level. They're not doing anything fancy here, and everything is very easy to get to. So if you buy a Corolla and you keep it the long term, you can do some stuff at home if you'd like. The air filter is very easy to get to. You just pop a couple clips and you can change your air filter. And of course the battery is right there. It's not tucked away under plastic, so you can just take that out and replace your battery every few years. Checking the brake fluid, you have to lean over a little bit, but you have your min and max, very easy to see. And of course, if your bulbs ever do go, very easy to access the back of the headlights on both sides. So Toyota's always keeping in mind the low cost of ownership, simplicity, and ease of working and maintaining on a Corolla, which just lowers your cost of ownership. The fuel economy on this 2.0 is rated at 41 on the highway, 32 in the city. It's made it to a CVT transmission, which Toyota's had great success with. It's going to blend somewhere around 35. I have had some clients report even higher than 41 when they're going easy on it or doing a lot of highway driving. And that's thanks to the variable valve timing, which is standard on the Corolla, which means those valves inside the engine, they will open up a little bit wider to give you more power when you need it on the higher RPMs. And they won't open quite as high at the lower RPMs, which is going to increase your efficiency. So, like I said, nothing new and innovative, but you have this standard on the Corolla. It's a very efficient car without being slow by any means. Inside the Corolla, you're greeted with 13.1 cubic feet with the seats up that do fold down in a 60-40 split with the simple push of a button right behind the headrest. And this one has the carpet mats. You can get the all-weather mats. And by pulling this up, you have the tools and a spare tire standard on the Corolla. There's plenty of space. You have to see one of these in person. Lots of space in a new Corolla for storing all of your goods. Right on the side of the headrest, I can push this little button down. And the seat folds down like so, opening up even more storage for my longer items. What's nice about the Corolla is the interior is nice on the front and back. We have some soft material over here, a little bit of a harder plastic up top, no shiny chrome handles to shoot sunlight in your face, and electric windows all around that are auto up and auto down standard. Here's what the carpet mats look like, and I would say if you're somebody who's maybe 6'1" and under, you'll be comfortable in this, assuming that your driver is not super tall. Lots of space in the back of a Corolla, with the fabric on the 23 being updated slightly for a little bit more of a tough, rugged feel without sacrificing any comfort on the skin. The anchors for the car seats are very easy to get to. These little plastic pieces just clip out and you can pop them right back in. They don't get lost, and it's the type of plastic that you can tell is not really gonna be brittle and snap into pieces. Another nice feature is you can one-hand the seat belts. They are made to operate very smoothly, and the buckles do not get lost in the cushions. I've seen some cars where you're going to buckle in a little tough small one, and you go to do this and it just disappears into a vortex, nowhere to be seen. Never happens on a Corolla. At 5'10" and the driving position set for somebody 5'10" to maybe 6 foot, I still have probably about 7 inches of space here between the knees. Plenty of visibility, which is not new for the Corolla, so you'll never be claustrophobic as a rear passenger. But new for the Corolla, 2 USBs for charging, whereas you used to get either nothing or maybe a 12 volt if you were lucky. We don't have a vent yet, which we're starting to see in some of the Camrys and become more standard on the RAVs, but at least our plug-in has been enhanced for 2023. And another quick note, I don't see a pocket here on the passenger side for quick access to the driver or on this side. And I have to say, as somebody who's worked in the car business for a few years now, I don't really see a lot of people using these pockets. And even myself, if I recall, I never really have used these pockets for much more than maybe items like a magazine or some plastic bags that I usually never touch for years anyway. Let me know what you think. Did they mess up by taking away the pocket? And should they have added it? Or does it not really matter? Storage on the rear doors is a little bit limited, but keep in mind this is a smaller car. At an angle, you can put a water bottle. It's not upright, and that kind of gives you room for this big, sturdy armrest over here, but there's no slider pocket like you see on some bigger vehicles. Onto the front, we have the same storage, plus a little bit extra here. It's not as diagonal. I can maybe put in a little bit of a clutch or a small purse and one water bottle there. Nothing fancy, no soft materials, all hard plastics, even up top. If you go with the top of the line Corollas, this gets a little bit softer, but we are on a base model. But of course I have this nice fabric here instead of a cheap spongy plastic. It's nice to see that they matched the same fabric as the seats on the door. And again, simple plastic, all blacked out. I like this because I don't like the shiny chrome shooting sunlight into my face. Remember I mentioned the seats were updated a little bit for the 2023. We have this nice zigzaggy, almost like a DNA looking stitching design over here, and nothing on the bottom, so it really draws attention to the backrest. And I'd say the cloth is definitely updated as far as the Corollas come along, with a beautiful embroidered fabric floor mat, which I do suspect many people will want to upgrade to the all-weather, but the fabric is great for people that don't really do a lot of walking around in the dirt and the mud. And the moment we've been waiting for, what it looks like to get inside the driver's seat of a 2023 underground gray Corolla LE. The driver's floor mat does lock into the floor, very important. And we have a seat adjuster. You just pull and release or push and release to lower it. Same storage on the driver door. Auto up and down on all four, but do check out the tutorial. Let's see what it looks like. Push the button into the ignition. The blinking beep is different. So our beeps have been updated. The speedo cluster also has a slightly different style. The MID is updated slightly. That's the multi-information display screen over here. Using the arrows on the steering wheel, I have a couple different menus I can go through. Change some settings, etc. Beautiful display. Very simple, very easy reader. I'm an easy reader guy. I wear a watch every day. I like it easy to read. I love that they kept things very simple on the Toyota. We got fan speed on the right for the climate control, air temperature over here, air direction right next to its symbol on the screen. Very easy to use system. AC and recirculate are right by each other. The owner of this vehicle did add the option of heated seats, which we offer over here at our store. Most dealers offer that. All the buttons are accessible on the front of the steering wheel, so we have no buttons in the back that disappear. Climate control, or I'm sorry, not climate control, cruise controls all in the front, there's no stock. I can operate my music, voice commands, phone calls, MID options, all from the steering wheel, with a very easy to steer electronic assist on the Corolla and great visibility all around on this car, another compliment that it gets. Also new for 23, the Corolla gets Toyota's new software system, so when you download the app, it'll unlock a personal profile, but say you're a guest, you can just cancel that, and when you connect to Bluetooth, it'll show you your phone's screen right here if you have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto capabilities on your phone, which I'm sure you do. Most people have a smartphone, and it's all wireless connection now for the CarPlay, which is great, with some custom settings for the car right here in the system. But like I mentioned, be sure to check out the tutorial for the Corolla for 2023 where we break down all the technology and all the buttons. Also standard on the Corolla, besides 90 days of Sirius radio, is 10 years, or until the 4G network doesn't exist anymore, of Safety Connect, which is a recovery system where if you get into an accident, it'll send a signal out with your location for them to come and save you, or you can push the button if you're having an emergency and they'll know exactly where you are no matter what the service is. This is a lifesaver and it's standard. Another fun fact, if you spend a whole ton of money on a Platinum Hybrid Highlander, you still get the yellow lights over here, but on a Corolla base model, they've upgraded you to the nice bright crystalline white LEDs, similar to the Lexus. The parking brake is automatic on the Corolla, so when I take it out of park and I put it into drive, the parking brake will disengage for me. They give me a little notch so I can operate it myself, but if you just leave this on its own, when you put it into park, the parking brake engages, signified by the park here in red, and when I put it into drive, it's going to take itself off. Super simple. And since this one is sold, I can't really drive it down the road, but I gotta tell you, the electronic steering on this car and the visibility, thanks to those windows by the mirrors, which is nothing new and crazy, but the small details make all the difference when you're making turns and driving around. I have to say, parking this car and driving it is such a relief as a Tacoma owner. It is very easy to see in this car. It is very easy to drive and park. And it's great on gas and super simple. You know what they say, it's a Toyota. Simplicity is less stuff to break. Less stuff to worry about. The reverse camera is very easy to see. It's not a Superstar HD, could be a little bit better, but it's very easy to use. Parking this car is a cinch because of its size, but it's not small like a little eco car. This car has some substance, and from experience, when you're driving on the highway, it holds its own. No parking sonar, so it doesn't beep, so you just got to use that red line to see when you're about a foot away and put it in park. Parking brake engages for you, all set and done. And with a lot of these cars having super bright displays, what I like about this car personally is there's a little lever here to change the brightness of the speedometer cluster / MID. And if this is a little bit too bright, you can just go to settings, go down to display. I can change the brightness, or I can even turn the display off while listening to music. For the automatic cruise control, it operates with a camera that's right up top in the windshield and a radar device that's down in the grille. And that's what gives you your lane departure alert with steering assist, your lane tracing assist, which keeps you in the middle of the lane, the pre-collision system where the car senses pedestrians and cars and will stop if you don't brake in time, and the PDA, which is going to slow you down if you're hitting a turn too fast. This is all standard on every Corolla, pretty much every Toyota now, at no additional cost. So for buying a base model car, you know, to save on gas, you're still getting a ton of safety packed in. There's also one USB right up front over here. That's the only one you get. But if we open up the side rest, which is far from plush, but definitely doable with a matching fabric here, so no more spongy weird plastic sticky material like a lot of vehicles have. It all matches the fabric to fabric to fabric. Small detail, big difference. But when I open this up, another USB greets me and an old school 12-volt plug. So you have a total of 4 USBs in the Corolla. And not just more than a couple years ago, you had this. Now we got this, plus one of these for people that are old school like me. You might wonder what the glove box looks like. It's not locking in any way, shape, or form. I figure most Corolla owners don't really care, but when we take out this college course of Corolla material that gives you no college credits, we have a decent sized glove box. So what do you think? Is the Corolla a car that you've been considering, or did this video just kind of land on your recommended? If you're in the market for a car like the Corolla or the Civic or maybe the Jetta or one of the many other small cars to consider, keep in mind with Toyota, you have a very simple car with very simple, easy to use buttons that isn't overly complicated and designed to never let you down. It doesn't sell you status, but it sells you something that will always be there, kind of like a best friend, to never disappoint you. And it comes with 2 years of free maintenance from Toyota. So check that out on Toyota.com. They come with Toyota Care, and it's got a lot to offer at the base level. I tried to keep it concise. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out the tutorial, which will be linked either in the comments or the description, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Peace.